Hi everybody and welcome to Trade with Precision. My name's Simon Clark with this week's free newsletter. Now before I get into the content of the slides that I wanted to talk to you about today, I just want to show you some charts, and if I drag up my charts, and I want to talk about some of these awesome trends that we've got in some of these futures markets. Now if we take a look at this one here, this one's just soybeans. Now if we take a look at the monthly chart, we can see that how powerful this trend is and how powerful this market is. Now since going back to sort of 2009, we can see that we've been in a raging uptrend here, nice clear series of higher highs and higher lows. And just notice really with this market how when it comes into the buy zone in between the 10 and the 20 period moving average, we start to get some small consolidated candles before we get a big powerful move to the high side. Again here, not so much small candles here, but pulled back into the buy zone before pushing up to the high side. Right at the moment, we're right there in the buy zone as well, and small candles by comparison for this market. So we're just starting to push up to the high side again, and we've got all of our moving averages fanning in the right order. So we've got a lot of our technical analysis setting up on these charts. If I just come down to these lower time frames, you can start to see the power of this move. Here's soybeans on the weekly chart, and we can see we've just had a pullback into a sort of area of sideways consolidation here, which price has sort of tested a few times. We've had a few ups and downs here, tests of some consolidation along this level, couple of levels here really of support and resistance, and now we're sort of breaking to the high side. And as we're sort of breaking back up again, we're starting to get some nice convergence on our indicators too. Just bring this down to the daily chart and we can start to see the power of this move to the high side. In fact, as price came down to the lower level of this sort of consolidation, we've now got a nice clear series of higher highs and higher lows. In fact, all that's happening at the moment is price is coming back into previous levels of support and resistance. Also happens to be clustering with the buy zone there as well. All of our moving averages in the right order, and we've even got our indicators all converging as well. So again, looking very, very nice for potential trading opportunities back up to the high side, and even making sort of like new higher highs up here. But that's not the only market. I mean, if we just come along to take a look at the ES, which is the S&P, if we take a look at the weekly chart, we can see again just here on the weekly chart we've got a very strong market here. We've got all of the moving averages in the right order, all fanning very, very nicely. And we can see, as price is sort of coming back in, it's just pulling into this 10 period moving average. It's not even being able to pull back through it. It's just touching this 10 period moving average before finding momentum and pushing up to the high side again. Lovely convergence on the indicators again. And we can just see this sort of pattern that we have here, just working back through other periods of time, going right the way back, in actual fact, back to 2009. So very, very strong, very strong markets, very strong trends, and multiple trading opportunities on these markets. And again, if we just come down to the daily chart, you can just see multiple opportunities here. At the moment, all we've had for the past few days, we've had a pullback right into the buy zone, and now we're just sort of small bullish candles breaking up to the high side again. It's the same story here on the Nasdaq too. So if we just take a look at the Nasdaq, again, just taking a look at the weekly chart, you can just see a beautiful sort of smooth flowing trend, multiple trading opportunities, and this is our the strategy that I'm talking about here is our PLT strategy, which is our sort of lifestyle strategy. It's easy to be able to trade this type of strategy on these types of markets on these higher time frames. Just multiple areas to be looking at getting long. So what I want to do, let's just go back to our slides now. What I want to do is just to talk to you about the futures markets. Now, if you're ever considering trading the futures markets, but you've never really been never really sort of understood the futures markets, understood how different they are to compared to other markets that you might be trading, then we've got a webinar coming up tomorrow evening. Now this webinar is going to be on how to trade futures with precision. So in that webinar we're going to be talking about demystifying the futures markets, so explaining how they're different to other markets that you may be trading. We're also going to be looking at the benefits of trading the futures markets as well, because there are many different benefits of trading futures over and above other markets as well. So we'll be taking a look at what those benefits are. We're also going to be taking a look at what the most popular futures markets are to trade. Now, this is going to be the markets that are best to trade for us as private traders, the ones that have got the most leverage, the ones that have got the best trends as well to trade. We're also going to take a look at the risks associated with trading futures. There are futures are different indexes, they're different markets, they're different asset classes to the likes of stocks, to the likes of currencies and other things that you might be trading. So we're going to take a look at the risks that are specific to the futures markets. We'll also look at money management as well for trading futures, because what we want to do is when we're trading we need to accept risk. Every time we place a trade we need to understand what the risk is for each market and asset class we're going to be considering to trade. Once we understand what those risks are, then we can look to accept that risk. So we need to identify what the risk is, then we need to be able to accept that risk before we consider placing a trade. We then need to have our trading strategy that we use in order to be able to reduce that risk as much as possible, so that this means that we put our stops in technically protected places. We use correct strategy management and technical analysis to be able to read price action and read the markets, and we're going to discuss that to some degree as well. And then we need to be able to avoid risk as much as we can. So once we've reduced our risk, we can then do things like move our stops in behind technically protected places as price moves in our favor, so that we avoid risk altogether. And once we've done that, if we start to build all of these different elements into our trader's business plan, then we can start to transfer our risk management over to our business plan and our trader's business plan. And this way, it just means that it takes the decision out of the process when we're in a trade, and it makes it very easy for us with our trader psychology. So we're going to cover all of these aspects within tomorrow's webinar. Now tomorrow's webinar is going to be it's going to be held on Wednesday evening. So there's different times it's going to be held throughout the world. So we're going to be running it at 8 p.m. London time. That's going to equate to 4 p.m. New York time, 7 a.m. Sydney time, or 9 a.m. in Auckland. Webinar will run for approximately 60 minutes and it's completely free to attend. So all you need to do is just to click on the link below and you can attend that. We'll send you a link to attend that webinar. Now one last note to point out that at Trade with Precision we're actually holding our last ever live seminar in London on at the beginning of June. So 1st and 2nd of June, you've got this week only. If you're interested in attending, coming along to one of our programs, our signature Mastering the Markets program. It's going to be held live for the last time in London, and if you'd like to find out more information about that, then just contact us here at Trade with Precision and we'll gladly discuss that further with you. Okay, thank you very much, and look forward to speaking to you on the webinar tomorrow evening. Bye for now.